Hey, how's your head? Okay, first off, I apologize. This isn't exactly protocol, but then again, what is right now, huh? You know? No, you don't. I'm sorry, you know nothing. This is all new to you. Okay. Have you ever seen a spy movie? You're in a Protego safe house, not far from your home, and once again, I'm very sorry I brought you here. Under different circumstances, there'd be a more formal invite, fewer black helicopters, we might get a beer, you know what I mean? Okay, yeah, silent treatment, I get that. That makes sense, I deserve that. Let me be as frank as possible. You're here because we need your help. I work for Protego, all right? We're an independent spy network, multiple agencies working together. We salute no flag, we discriminate against no applicant. Our only mission, our sole mission is to protect the innocent. We're the good guys, okay? We're the good guys. I'm an operator, Jim Ratio, Alpha Division. I coordinate agents in the field. At least I did. I used to. There's this guy, a dangerous man, right? He calls himself Solitaire. He disrupted our network, revoked my coordination rights to my team. My agents are in the field completely alone, blind. They do not know what's going on, and we don't know what Solitaire is up to, but we know it can't be good. But I have a workaround, all right? I pulled your name from a list of candidates. I don't know how you got there, but someone way higher up than me thinks you have something special. I brought you here because the system has no limits on new applicants. You can't write missions, but you can take them. If you can get to level 15 ranking, and I bet you can, then you can fix all of this. You'll earn that ranking by successfully completing missions using the Cyber Augmented Recon and Defense System. It's an abstract interface, but it'll help you get your spy crews in order. At level 1, you can only command a single crew, the Mantis Group, and whoof, they are messy, but they get the job done. As you progress, you'll unlock more crews, you'll take on bigger missions, you'll keep on going and leveling up and hopefully get us out of this. Good luck, Spy Master. I'll be with you every step of the way. Oh, and again, sorry about your head.
Hello and welcome to the Solitaire Conspiracy. I freaking love this game. I want to share this game with other people. And in this case, I'm going to do that in the simplest way possible by just playing it for a bit and talking to you while I do. Now, I've reset the campaign. This is now in baby newbie mode, and I do not have any, stuff unlocked, which means it's just going to be showing you, well, the tutorial to start with. It's a solitaire game. There's a set of cards you're going to be rearranging in different orders, and you get bonus XP if you do it in a limited space, but you don't get held back from the main campaign or locked out of anything by just doing it in a way that makes you take your time. So, we're going to go start on Campaign Plus, which is turn limited with fixed deals, play efficiently to avoid failure. Solitaire has a recon location high in the Alps, disguised as a weather station. Deploy Mantis for intel. The mountain climb to Solitaire's recon base, codenamed Perfect Storm, is cold, steep, and deadly. Fortunately, Mantis deals with deadly every day. If the elements weren't bad enough, then the hired thugs waiting inside, smug and warm, present a more direct challenge. Use cards to direct Mantis into position and lead the charge. Once inside, very little expert knowledge should be required. Low-tier intel like this is most likely sitting around on a conveniently found memory stick. Hell, somebody's probably recorded a handy audio log or three. You've got this, candidate. Alright, so this being tutorial, we're going to have these text boxes. So, there's only one objective. Sort all the cards into the center targets, the glowing ones. Cards are sorted by crews, running your typical ace to king. Move cards by dragging them where you want them to go. The first card you need, the ace, is under a 5. You should drag the 5 away. Let's place it on the 10 on the bottom right. This is tutorial stuff. I don't know if I should read the whole thing, but we're going to go through it as quickly as possible so I can get to talk about the good stuff. Bomb. Bomb. Now, this wants me to use an explosion thing over here. This is the Mantis Group shtick. Their thing is that they explode categories. And now that 2 is free. 7 can move out of the way. Then it's just 3, then 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Jack, Queen, King, and that's it. That's the mission's done. Effortless would undermine how impressive Mantis are in the field, but it's fair to say that this went more smoothly than expected. Once we have analysts again, the data will be a treasure trove. You've unlocked another crew, which should introduce a little more complexity to proceedings. So they just introduced a single suit kind of solitaire game.
Congratulations. Wasn't kidding about the Mantis group, right? I certainly wouldn't want to argue with them, because let me tell you, I tried once and it did not work out well. Blood Legacy, they're the old guard, right? They were here long before any of us were, and they seem pretty intent on outliving anyone who has the audacity to turn up later. They have the kind of wealth and power you can only be born into. No, I get that. I'm the same way. I don't like that. I'm not a fan of that. But like the Mantis folks, they have their uses. You'll have to access bigger jobs now, take them, and keep Solitaire on the ropes. It's simple arithmetic. Hey, be careful with Blood Legacy. Don't trust anything in our world that existed before you woke up. Really, any power that's been around that long, by definition, it's going to be corrupt. Watch your back.
All right, and now we move on to our first kind of proper mission. The game is trying to make sure that it doesn't throw you at things too hard, but this is the basic thing. It's a type of tower solitaire game with special powers on different suits of cards, and a lore and a fiction that's about maintaining and balancing spy networks. The organizing of cards into sequence is also the organizing of a mission. It's moving things out of the way. And I'm just a massive sucker for this. I just love it so much. Although Blood Legacy insists it's unnecessary, Mantis will act as bodyguards during this mission at the Underworld's premier annual arms auction. We're here to stop Solitaire with little interest in the consequences for the world's criminal fraternity. Blood Legacy will use an account scrambler to bid on various items we know Solitaire's associates are there to obtain. The beauty of the scrambler is that it'll tie up our bids to Solitaire's associates' accounts. We get the item, they foot the bill. Okay, so Blood Legacy's ability is to nepotize. If you dump one of the activated face cards on a stack, it will sort the stack basically upside down. I usually, when I played through this the first time, I actually hated this ability. I thought this basically put the lowest cards, which I wanted, farther away. But it's a really useful way to effectively give yourself a place to a king or something to dump things on. The good news is that we also have them alongside the Mantis group, and Mantis group are, well, they're goons. So the aesthetic of this particular mission is fancy blue bloods getting involved in a conflict where there are effectively stunt drivers crashing through their everything. There's no need to shoot. There's no need to stack on the same crew. Bop it up, bop it up. All right, and now I think the game is just giving me what freedom I can have. I have 35 turns to get out 24 cards, so that means that hypothetically I need to make it so that I have 24 moves left where I can just go through the whole stack. This is not like most other forms of Solitaire you might have played, especially if you're used to playing on Windows, where sometimes you actually do need to keep around things that you could otherwise be escaping into the stack. Because they're part of a tower that something's reliant on. In this case, if the thing is available and the ace can take it, you just ditch it, because a blank space is worth more than an open one. Now, seeing that, what can we do from here? Well, that's easy. We are looking to get to this 2. Now, if we did that, then that 4... That seems a very inefficient use of that. But doesn't seem like it's necessarily a bad thing. We're going to need to move this reasonably soon. In fact, if we pull that now, that gives us the 4, the 5, the 6, the 7, and that gets us a fairly decent clip through, and only this 8 is difficult to get to. If I did move this king up to that stack here, that would keep the 8 on the bottom. Funny thing is, because this king is here, I would need to move her off the stack and move it back on it to explode this one and get access to that 8, hypothetically. If I did move this to here, it would expose the jack, which would let me explode that stack, and it might explode, and it would keep the 2 where it is. Alright, I'm going to try that. Okay, so now I have that jack. 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. If I do that, that frees up that 8. This 9 is still in an unpleasant location. And now you see we only have 2 moves left before we need to be like vacating en masse. Now, we are fairly decently dipped through the Mantis group stack, so it's not such a problem. But I need to make sure I have the moves I need to do this. If I get rid of that, if I move that 10, then that hypothetically opens up. See, just getting that 2, then I need to make another move to get that 3, then that gets that 4, and now we're back up to here and dealing with like other stacks we need to dig through. So I think in this case I want to... No, we'll do it this way. Blow up that. That does gives us a 9. We do that. Nuts. Okay. So 10, jack, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, I think I've gone and hooched this one. If I move her to this stack, that puts her at the bottom, but it puts the queen at the top. But it does expose this queen. Can I get the rest of the way? Okay, 1 move to spare. Like, that was not tidy. I don't like that. I like a lot more elegance. There's only one way to describe performances during that mission. Elegant. Oops. All arms obtained at the auction are currently on their way back to black sites for storage, although presumably some will go missing into Mantis' armory.
Wow, nice, you're doing it. You're figuring out how to play to the strengths of the different crews. It takes so many people so long to do that. All right, it's time I show you why I brought you here. Like I said, my whole team is locked out from crew commands thanks to Solitaire's attack, which means that right now you are the only spy master guiding Protego crews. And don't get me wrong, you're doing great. Real proud of you. That thing with the thing in the place, it was awesome. I've never seen Mantis and Blood Legacy work together so well. But Solitaire, right? Solitaire will seize any opportunity he sees, and we need to be able to confront him on all vectors. At level 15, you can undo the crew lockout. You can assign control to whoever you want, and we can get Alpha Division back to work. It's the only way past the failsafe. And on the way there, you're going to gain access to more crews, and more crews, and more crews, and keep growing. Eyes on the prize, candidate. Let's take back the network.
Now, I am an immense sucker for Mike Bithel's world building. The first game I actually really wrote about impassionedly on my blog when I first started it was about Thomas Was Alone, which was Mike Bithel's little square bounce 'em up with a wonderful narration by a British actor whose name completely escapes me at this point. And that game was one of those things that really impressed upon me the way that you can use abstracted elements and communicate through game mechanics in a way to create worlds and tell stories. The entirety of Thomas Was Alone is the abstraction of AI navigating a network, and yet even within that abstraction they also have personality and persona created by the way that they behave in the world they're in. Last year I dug into Volume, his stealth game from a couple of years back, and I was blown away by just how much I loved Volume. I wasn't good enough to finish Volume. It's a very long game, lots of levels. Definitely, if you're into the kind of stealth game it is, you should definitely dive into it and check it out. but just the world that Bithell breathed into that space and the kind of narrative elements that he uses to tell his stories, I just fell in love with the sense of personality. I already knew I was going to enjoy this game in a sort of vague way because it's a solitaire game and there's an interesting kind of like, we could talk about the history of solitaire and talk about history of cards and creating abstractions here. But what I wasn't expecting was how much affection I was going to have for the personality of this game. Like, they just introduced you with Jim Ratio, who is a stammering, awkward dork who is trying to convince you to take on basically the job of being the new boss of all of the CIAs. And I'm in, and I have these factions which I have genuine opinions on, and I have formed, I wouldn't say relationships with, but I definitely know which ones I want to take with me and which ones I want to work with and which ones have aims I'm interested in. In fact, since the game's launch, there's been 2 new factions introduced to the game which have their own recruitment arcs, which I'm intending to do after we get there. So let's see. Alice Springs, Outback, Heavyweights. The art world may glisten with counterfeits, but blood sports are where the real money laundering happens. 37 turns. Okay, let's see how we go. Solitaire's network is laundering vast sums of money throughout Australia via the not entirely legal Augmented Fighting Championships. Thus you see more of that world building. Augmented Fighting Championships? This is well with cyborgs. Of the thousands of on-site bets placed at the fights, we must identify his associates and guarantee he loses big. Mantis Group members have volunteered to enter the fights, and when their lack of augments come out in the physical, Solitaire's laundering crew will take the opportunity to bet big against them. Blood Legacy will mingle among the VIPs to identify potential associates. Of course, for this to work, Mantis merely needs to win their bouts. So, I'm pulling off a kind of classic scam here, involving rigging betting, and what's happening is that this Mantis crew, who are effectively... do I have a bio for them here at this point? No, I don't. Okay, the Mantis crew. Can I get a look at your cards? Oh, butts. The Mantis group are effectively just smash and grab style infiltrators. They are very direct and they're very aggressive. I'm very fond of them. They're not my favorite faction, but they're definitely one of the factions that I think of. Like, oh, thank goodness you're here. I'm glad I get to work with you today. And they are going to be entering into a pit fight with a bunch of roided up super cyborgs, and the narrative is going to run that if I pull this off, they win that fight. If I mess up this game of Solitaire, they don't win that fight. And like, sure, some of you aren't necessarily thinking about this in terms of like the visual spectacle and the story it's unweaving for you, but for me, I'm just such a sucker for this. Alright. Getting rid of top aces is usually free. I say usually. We're going to come up to a faction later that actually can make more use of that than otherwise. Now, let's see. We want a place to move this jack to get access to that ace. We don't currently have that. In fact, we won't have that unless we get this 7 out of the way, or we get this 9 and this 8 out of the way. If I do move this 7 down here and I move this jack across, that gives me access to the ace, which does give me an explosive option for this jack. It is a bit of a bummer to do it that way, because that means that jack is going to get moved twice and only be used on one of those. But, got a decent number of moves available. 2, 3, 4. Okay, so we're going to do it this way. Mantis group activated. This also gives us a blank space. Blank spaces being the only place you can place kings is kind of valuable. Alright. Gonna try... There are some missions where you will find what you want to do is lace through movements, where moving one faction into the other space and other space into... You're kind of back and forth at, ace 2, 3, then ace 2, 3 of the other faction. Gonna have to clean that out on the edit. Alright. If I can get rid of this and this. Because these two look like they're best used at blowing up their... altering the stacks they're in. So if we do this... Bum, bum, bum. Bum, bum. Alright, now we have 24 turns to get rid of... 17 cards? And we want to make sure we don't put ourselves into a further bind. So, if we do this... Really not wild about that. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I think I've got enough moves left. This is where it gets weird. Oh no. Cool. I've played the late game so much, I'm so used to being like 2 or 3 moves short. Alright, level 4. Solitaire lost big today, and thanks to all your planning and the intense fight expertise of Mantis. Thankfully, we always bet on our crews, even when the odds are poor. We'll fund many ongoing operations against Solitaire with the proceedings. Excellent work. Basically, the Mantis group, as completely normal humans, jumped into a ring with a bunch of cyborgs and beat them down hard enough that we were able to cash out.
Good job. I never really gave you a choice, did I? That's your exit. You want to leave, you want to walk away, you want to go back to a normal life, that's okay. But if you stay, know that I've got your back. You're level 4 now, which means you can command Drive Team 6.
Woo!
Extraction experts, real pros, top of the line. I hope you'll work with them to keep dismantling Solitaire's plans and leveling up, but if not, I'm sure they'll drive you home too. Remember what I said about trust, and make up your own mind. Once you get to the next level, you're going to have access to 4 crews, which means you can really start to dent Solitaire's operation. Kind of our only hope on this one.
Alright. Now, check this out here. Recruitment. Taking aim. Alright. The crew in question, Drive Team 6, they're effectively stunt drivers whose big thing is being able to arrange getaways. They are super cool. I like them a lot. This is the goon squad of Mantis. I love the way that these are characterized. Like, for example, the Mantis group all have like single word code names, while the Blood Money have, you know, Dame Yang Jun, Baron John Sage, and Lady Plum. Like the cyberpunk contrast of characterization. So I really freaking love that. I think that's really cool. But for now, let's start with this recruitment mission. All buildings have blueprints, even political prisons. And you see here, recruitment, the merry, 0%. Now, this should make the campaign faster. This will increase the rate of XP we get, but it won't give us XP in the main campaign. 66 turns. Well, how hard could it be? Let's check out what this thread is about.
Hello. You don't know me, but I know you. When I heard you'd been scooped up, I didn't believe it. I said to my guy, I said, no one would dare. They don't know who you are, do they? Nice. Your secret's safe with me. I'm calling you because I need a favour. I've been watching you. Not in a creepy way, but I've seen what you've been doing. The ripples, at least. You're making change. Change is good. You seem to be on the side of the angels. And I've got some angels who need your help. I don't know how up on English politics you are, but about 15 years ago, a kid called Rob Loxley made some changes of his own. He taught the nation how to steal from those who'd stolen his country. What he started in a little room in Nottingham ended with the downfall of Gisborne himself. A dictatorship destroyed by a teenager with an audience. I was just a teenager myself, and Rob showed me something. I saw my calling. I saw a cause I could believe in, and I joined his crew. We called ourselves the Merry, and we were magnificent. We took down Gisborne, and for a little while we were heroes. But no man ever achieved anything alone, and that's especially true of bad men. Behind Gisborne stood the invisible ghosts, those whose power hid them from our little revolution, and those men came in the night, daggers drawn. I'm the only one left, the only one not dead or locked up. And my power doesn't extend much further than making optimistic calls to people like you. Loxley's alive, along with Scathlock and Joe. They're being held in Black Tower, a high-security prison outside of Manchester. To get in, we'll need to do research, get details, access codes. I plan to mount a prison break. I know you have the people to put this together. So I'm asking you, I'm sort of begging you to be honest. Spy Master, can you help me restart this revolution?
So, when I mentioned volume, this is that. This is the narrative of volume intersecting with the Solitaire conspiracy. Volume was about how one person communicating a message, giving people tools and ideas, was enough to tip against a fascist dictatorship that relied on people believing that they could not do anything. And now this is the continuation of that story. If you're at all, by the way, a fan of, I'm going to get this wrong, hopefully not, Stephanie James Sterling, they're in volume as the voice of that universe's Friar Tuck. So, like, this is a very good company to be in. The Burdened, who now control England, had plausible deniability during the reign and fall of Gisborne, just enough wiggle room to avoid the revolution and the prosecutions that followed. The Architect was undoubtedly not one of those people. Fleeing to Africa, he would have stayed hidden had his signature approach to design not started cropping up again. The current government may have erased Black Tower's blueprints, but the Architect is a living backup copy. Get to him. Alright, DT6, Drive Team 6. These are one of the most powerful starting groups. Their thing is, if you place the activated member on a suit, they will find the appropriate card that you need next, and they will just immediately deploy it. So, we have 66 turns to do this, and we have 3 suits. So, 3 suits is 39 cards. That gives you an idea of how much wiggle room we've got left. We've got something in the district of 27 moves. Now, Drive Team 6 are a little weird because they can make something being placed into the escape. You might notice we have the aces just buried here, and this one's buried under 3 kings. So the Mantis group are not getting active quite so early. If we activated the blood money, they wouldn't help us get at this either. So our best bet is to get at the Drive Team 6. So first things first, we need to find where they are. That's their ace. And then we need to find the highest level face card they've got to try and get at these. Now, there's a face card here. That seems nice and convenient. And there's a face card here. And the third face card is hiding in this stack of kings. So that one's going to take a little grappling to get at. But for now, our priority is going to be here. Now, where can we move the 5 that we don't need to redo moves afterwards? Because, of course, you see this 2 here. Drive Team 6 is going to want to get that 2, but it might be okay. They might be the last one out. If we can get the if we can get the blood money and the Mantis group involved. So, I think I'm going to do this and clear some room. The 4 can go there because effectively this stack is infinitely deep. Alright, Jackie Hunt, Drive Team 6. If you can steer it, Jackie can figure it out. The nerdiest member of Drive Team 6, she channeled her talents into machinery and tech, and given the number of unique and futuristic vehicles the team runs into regularly, Miss Hunt is essential. I also really like the use of the symbols, the suit signs. Check out how on her jacket she's got that pair of interlocking diamond shapes. Same thing here on this nerd. Alright then. Now, we want to activate Mantis Group, which means we want to put her onto a stack where there is a Mantis Group card on top. She will then jump to the bottom of the stack. I think this is probably the safest place to put her, because after that, we're not going to need her until right towards the end of the round. So, that activates our friends in the Mantis Group. Now, we don't have access to a lot of the crews at this point. You might notice that Drive Team 6 are up here and down here. Do have a tantalizingly close pair of Mantis, though. So, where is our 2 of Mantis? This stack here. 2, 2, 3, 6. Yuck. This is what a lot of this game looks like to me. It's just very patiently waiting. Okay, we don't need the Queen of Blood Money for a while, and we don't need the 5 until after we get to this 2. So this is quite frankly easily scrapped. This 3 can go up here. Now we have access to our first, bomb. And the question is, I think it's got to be here. I think we've got to move it over to this stack so we can take advantage of the fact that there's 2 2s there. Or we try and get Blood Money active. Blood Money's activation is just not going to be that valuable in this. I can't see any way to use Nepetize. Because Nepetize can be handy if you've got a stack that's like this one, but doesn't have the 8 and the 9. And if you've got multiple face cards all sitting in one spot, using Nepetize to stack them up nice and tight works well. And it gives you a place to put, tucking away your high value cards. Alright, what did that do for us? Freed up that immediately. That means we can do that. Alright, how are we looking now? Hmm, 4 is over there. This stack here is really hard to consider moving, so I shouldn't worry too much about anything there. Effectively, we can treat it like it's a blank stack, because everything in here is more or less in the right order, height-wise, and nothing in there is nothing in there is high priority. If I could get access to this 2 readily, that would give me 2, 3, 4, and then I hit a wall because the 5 is down here. So we want to plan. I think the next step is working out a path to... Oh, jeez. I think the next step is working out a path to these, because that gets us to get rid of some of these blue cards. See, right there, I just made a mistake. Because this 10 here can't go anywhere that isn't on a high face card. I can move this onto there, so that gives me something. But that was a mistake, because I've effectively made an extra move. And now, you see, it's very easy to get falling into this pattern of focusing on step-by-stepping my way through what I can do, rather than how much leeway I have to do the things I need to do. On the other hand, that does feel like it opened up a lot of cards. 5, 6... I've got 38 moves, and I can't at a glance tell how many cards I need to get rid of at this point. Alright. Alright, okay. Focus on the whole board, as they say. Oh, derf. That's embarrassing. That's extremely embarrassing. Four, 5, 6, 7. So as you can see, that opens up a crap load of stuff. In fact, if I do that, then that moves that 5 out of the way. We get 7, 8, 9, 10. And we see we're almost... You get these explosive bursts when you suddenly realize you cracked a puzzle. It's kind of... Like, it's part of why I really love the drama associated with this game. Like, it creates the idea that what you're dealing with is this very serious, kind of tense, abstract moment, and you are rationalizing your way through it as you're trying to position people around the board correctly. But, like... Effectively, it's a tabletop RPG I'm playing with my own computer. The architect is redrafting full blueprints of Black Tower under the conditions that we release him upon completion. Blood Legacy have volunteered to take care of his release. There may be history there. Alright, now we can't continue on with the Mary's plotline until we get to level 5. But also, we can't do this mission up here until level 5. What do we got in the way of plot stuff? The Slick and the Spurious. Well, that one's going to be about family. Water, water everywhere, not a drop of drink. Oh, and by the way, there's also a daily, and a timed one, and a free play skirmish thing. So that's cool too. So if you don't necessarily want to play in these plotline missions. Catching a flight. Alright, I think I'm going to go help with water supplies. Water everywhere, not a drop to drink. The west coast of the United States is about to be poisoned, and we need to let it happen. Well, that's a great hook to get me interested. What the hell do we talk about there? Alright, I'm going to try again, doing Campaign Plus mode. Solitaire wasn't going to let us keep attacking his infrastructure without escalation. In this case, a show of influence. We know the United States West Coast reservoir is about to be poisoned, and to expose Solitaire's agent, the only option is to lay in wait while the plan is enacted. The good news is there is only one viable compound for the job, making a reactive strategy possible. After the incident, Mantis will track and apprehend Solitaire's agent as DT6 manages the fallout. Okay. Oh, this is great. This is only 2 suits. Okay, so we have 26 cards, and we need to move them out by 34, and one of those suits is the Miracle Babies that are Drive Team 6. Okay, we put that there. This king is now safely tucked away somewhere we don't need it yet. And we can just... Like, this is actually a situation where Mantis's explosivity is like, kind of working against them, because I don't need it right now. I can do this, grab that 2 out of there, and also do that, which is pretty cool. Grab that 3 that way, 4. Five, 6, 7. See, I've got 20 turns left to work this out. And, like, it's a messy solution. I've definitely been lazy about doing this right. But on the other hand, it's all reasonably close to my fingertips. Like, that's it. The Mantis group are out. Eight, 9, 10, Jack, Queen, King. There. And, like, that was messy. That was really, really messy. DT6 managed to create a closed loop, breaking down the compound as it recycled through the reservoir's treatment plant. The populace was without water for a few hours, but the alternative would have been far worse. The agent is now in our custody. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm like a CIA super cop. That's not necessarily a good thing to like to be, but, you know, the fiction of it, the narrative, the idea that there are problems and you can solve them by being good at manipulating and moving things into position. I just love it. Okay. 34, 2 suits, that's 8 bonus moves. But again, we're dealing with Mantis and Drive Team, so... Solitaire rewards many of his agents with beautiful cars. Cars we notice are coming in from underground street racing around Cairo. Solitaire uses Cairo to farm elite vehicles, with racers in his employ tracing for slips, taking the cars of their opponents and shipping them worldwide. Blood Legacy has collected some of the most exquisite vehicles ever produced. DT6 are some of the finest racers and engineers and intelligence. By pulling that technology and expertise, we may be able to make an embarrassing dent in Solitaire's flow of luxury to his staff. Oh, nuts. I misread the symbols. Yeah, this isn't Mantis Group, this is Blood Legacy. Okay. But we also get the freebie there. Okay. Now, in this situation, I'm tempted to treat the Drive Team 6 as kind of a precious resource. Like, we don't have to do through, like, deep stacks at this point. but we still need to make sure we use a minimum number of turns. On the other hand, we can go that jump, but even then we'd have to move this 4 out of the way anyway to get access to that 2, so we're not losing anything by doing this. 2. Okay. So now we have... So do that, grab that, and that's effectively giving us, like, 1 move taken away. That 4 gets to go away. That 3 is actually one of the most buried cards because it's under a king, so we'll do that. Four, 5, 6, 7, 5, 8, 9. I think this is good. I think we got it. Get out, you bunch of poshos. Alright, yes. Solitaire's crew played for slips and lost their rides. Looks like his associates across the globe won't be getting new cars this year.
You're still here. Good. Don't worry, the door stays open, but I'm excited that we get to keep working together, buddy. I'm Jim Ratio, by the way, and I think I said that earlier, but we rushed past it, and now it's gotten to that point where it feels awkward to be getting to know each other, but let's just push past the weirdness together and get back to it. Okay, new crew time. Incognito, masters of disguise. Nobody knows what they look like or how their impersonation tech works. They're kind of unknowable, really. I think that's kind of awesome. That's how they like it. They're a little awkward at parties about it, though. Yeah, I honestly don't know how they managed to confuse the cards either, but they like their secrecy. Right, 4 crews available now. That means you can take on some full-size jobs, and the road gets a little tougher now, but please, stick to it. We have to hit level 15 and get Alpha Division back online.
Alright, now, with 4 suits, you've got 52 cards, and that means that the target numbers get bigger, but also you need more moves to get the wiggle room. But we can go back to our friends in the Merry, over here, for more of that, or we can check out this brand new DLC content faction, the Atlantis Group. So I think I'm going to try and introduce you to the Atlantis Group, and then we'll see about the Merry and see what we've got left. 90% of an iceberg is underwater, perfect for keeping things out of sight. 4 crews, Incognito, Atlantis Project, Drive Team 6, and Blood Legacy. Okay.
What's this thing? I'm Sam. I'm part of the Atlantis Project. They just call you Spy Master, right?
Come on.
Shorter than I expected. It's cool. No judgment here. No reason we'd have made it across your radar yet, but the Atlantis Project is a unique crew. We work across the entire global ocean. If it's blue, it's our mandate. And thanks to global warming, that jurisdiction is growing. Specifically, we've taken responsibility for protecting the ocean's stacked ecosystems and liquid biomes. Most of the Atlantis Project are scientists like myself, but sometimes we have to work with people in more direct fields. Ex-Navy, ex-pirate, anyone with sea legs, really. Anyone who's willing to do good. I need your help because our work is being stolen. My mentor, John Icor, was kidnapped by Solitaire. He's a good man, but he's not built for interrogation. I think Solitaire is making something terrible. John's a brilliant climatologist, and his skills in the wrong hands... I don't know what Solitaire could be building. You might think that solving a kidnapping is beneath you, Spy Master, but Solitaire must be stopped, and my crew will help. Nobody operates at or below sea level quite like my crew.
The Atlantis Project knows of a facility built into an iceberg floating above the Arctic Circle, a remnant of the Illulisat Glacier, which Solitaire uses to store his most sensitive prisoners. Since the prison doubles as a facility for Solitaire's nefarious research and development projects, there's every possibility Icor is imprisoned beneath the surface. Find Icor if he's there, obtain a lead if he isn't, and liberate as many prisoners as you can. Okay, so the Atlantis Project. Yeah, this is a group where the king is Dolphin. It reminds me of Darwin from Sequest. This faction freaking rules. They can submerge cards to clear a path or remove danger. If you place them on a card, it will send all of the cards with that value to the bottom of their stacks. So you can use this to, for example, push a bunch of kings to the bottom of the table, or if you've got like only one of a particular thing currently on blocking your path, you can use it to get rid of it. It's a super useful thing. It's not quite as valuable as other factions you'll see later, but Submerge is still super useful for getting through things. Incognito. Agents tend to leave confusion in their wake. Their obfuscate power shuffles a stack, rearranging all the cards and placing the agent at the bottom. The power is risky, but there's a chance it will leave the stack in your favor. Of course, there's a chance it will make things worse. Blah. I am torn on Incognito. On the one hand, I greatly appreciate the cyberpunk motif of having a face that doesn't look the same way twice. On the other hand, this mechanic feels unreliable, so I feel like it might screw me over if I use it. So I'm very cautious about using Incognito. Oh man. And like, look at Atlantis. Look at how good looking the color is. And look at how cool the symbol is. This is such a... I would like... Hey Mike, if you're watching this, and I kind of assume you are, I would like to have sets of cards with these symbols on them. Just, putting that out there if the art assets are available. Alright, aces are free. Actually, as I say that, I just want to clarify. I have played games in my own solo version where I would not activate the Blood Legacy for as long as possible, or another faction that come up even later, because they are easier to work with if their powers don't trigger. Alright. Now, the stack we have here, where this ace is, does have this little combo here of a king and a jack. If there's another jack somewhere we want to shove to the bottom of a stack, this could be a way to get there. The 2 for Atlantis is up here. That looks like something that I'm going to want to dig out with Drive Team 6. So I'll have to wait until after they're enabled. Because otherwise a lot of Atlantis are up at the top, so they're okay. Twos are awkward because there's almost no way they can go that they're not wasting a slot. But this can go here and that'll be okay. Is there any greedy spot for a 10? I guess there's this as an option. Submerging all the 10s would put 10, 10 at the bottom of that stack, and the other 2 are... Oh, I'll put 3 10s at the bottom of this stack and 1 10 at the bottom of this stack. But that's not the worst thing in the world. Alright. So now you see that this ace is only second from the top. Is there any other value you'd like to push down? Shove all the 9s down as well. They can afford to go to the bottom. Alright. But now we have this problem of where the heck do we put this jack? Because it is sitting directly on the ace that'll activate it. There's a queen here. I think... Yeah, this king here is also good. So that queen is 3 steps away, this is 2, so... And it's, like, easily done like that. Okay. So that's kind of ugly. I'm not wild about that, I'm going to be completely honest. I think I may have doomed this one with a lot of loose moves early on. But we shall see. Where is our red 3 here. What about our blue? What about our 2 for the Atlantis project? It's up here. If I do move it up there, that gets that frees up this 3. But that it doesn't get very far. Blue Bloods 2 is here, so that's probably going to get out of there with a All right, let's free that because that looks like a really easy choice to make because that's so far down in a stack compared to all the other stuff. It's like close to the top. Actually, hang on. This is 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 4 over that, and there's 4 over that. But there's a king on top of that and a jack on top of that, and there's a queen on top of that, which isn't the best thing in the world, but it's a lot easier. All right, well, we'll do this. I guess that does give me a king to put things on. Which, hypothetically, frees up some space. I can use this nerd to rearrange one of these stacks in a way that's favorable later. I think I really feel like I think I've really got a problem with my turn order here. Okay, so that 3 there. 2, 3, kind of want to save you because like they're effectively this guy's just going to punch a hole through this stack here. Like if I do this, no, gotta be bold. Gotta start actually taking some action. Okay, so do that. Okay, that's some progress. And that does make the board is a little less complex. On the other hand, these things, they're like landmines. Like, they shuffle the stack they're on. So the bigger the stack, the more likely you'll get an arrangement you didn't want. And right now, I want the cards directly underneath him. And if I put him here, which is where I would want to tuck him because he'll go down underneath the queen of the king, this 5 might wind up who knows where. Oh, wait, no. Herp! There we go. Thank you, Zarya. Taking a submerged trip. Alright. That massively opens things up. Do I have enough moves left? Can I actually pull this out? 5. Okay. Yeah, you can shuffle that stack. I don't mind. 7, 8, 9. Okay. Start clearing some of these out a little more aggressively. Okay. For anyone who's watching this on the after the fact and is feeling like very confident, like, oh, why is he so worried about this? It's because I don't play on this mode normally. I decided to play on this mode to challenge myself. And I feel really tense when I don't know if I've got infinite moves, when I know I might have the game suddenly go, nah, you've hecked up. Get out. Who do you think you are, Spy Master? Get a load of this wannabe Spy Master. Right, hang on. Oh yeah. See right there, I almost wasted a move. Da. Okay. Whew! There's no record of Icor as a prisoner, but Solitaire submarine network manifests show that someone matching their description en route to a geothermal facility beneath the Pacific Ocean. Let's follow the lead. So, you see how through all these things where it states stuff like, you already know about this stuff, right? That it is creating this illusion of the world as it is. Like, this is a cyberpunk future where there are things like very powerful research groups of climatologists building things in frozen locations because they need to be building there. This is cool. I really like this. I just don't know how to. I don't know how to convey how much I like these without necessarily just coming across as a complete tool. All right, tell you what. We'll do one more story mission, and then I'll wrap up and just put it like, there's my bow on it. This is why I love this game so much. I hope that you are inspired to try it, and I hope that it comes across how genuine my love is. So, Janus squared. The weapons of yesterday may be gone, but the means to make them remain. Doo-doo-doo. Mantis, Blood Legacy, Drive Team 6, and Incognito. Well, that's what I've got, so 81 turns. Okay. Distraction, infiltration, sabotage, and extraction. Solitaire is utilizing an abandoned military facility underneath the Gobi Desert to enrich. Well, that's the problem. We don't exactly know. Once upon a time, it was used for uranium, a dirty remnant of the last century. DT6 will draw away security while Incognito finds out what's going on inside. Mantis will provide the ordnance, and Blood Legacy will bring everyone home. Should be a clean operation for you. Okay, what are our difficulties? So, Blood Legacy and Incognito have extremely buried aces. Mantis and Drive T6 have very easily accessed aces. But those buried aces effectively mean that it's very easy for anything in those two suits to effectively block anything else. This stack here is pretty interesting in a kind of just leave it alone way. Like, the majority of this stack will be dealt with in the late game when you've got a lot more movement and freedom to work with. So, effectively, I can ignore this and just pile things on there if they're adjacent. Same thing here. This is effectively like a loaded clip of cards to throw at things. Alright then. This seems a pretty easy free one. Do we want to do that? Hypothetically, there's better options for placing that, but that's a way to get to that ace without having to basically put a dead move somewhere. Effectively, I'm wondering, did I trade a dead move for a dead move? Alright. Now, hypothetically, I can use this to grab that 2, 3, 4, and that also, again, frees up a bunch of space, gives me the 5 and the 6. That does seem like a lot for one move. Heck with it. Nothing ventured. Worst case scenario, you'll get to see me fail a mission, and I'll get to feel very embarrassed that I made myself look silly on the internet to a group of people who are, broadly speaking, my friends. Okay. Because this guy's unactivated, I can actually hoist him over here and get access to that. Ooh, that's actually super nice. Now it gives us access to that. Alright. Okay. So, hypothetically, we want to get access to this. Sorry, we want to move these 5s out of the way. 7s, 8s. This 3 as well doesn't have a great place to go. We can hold these 2 out of the way. Alright, we'll do this the ugly way. 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. So that has effectively gotten us a blank space that we can work with. 9, 8, 7. And now we've activated that whole section. 2. Where's the 3? 3's over there. 6, 7. 8, 9. I think I've got enough turns to get through this now. I think I'm fine. We just need to grab. Ironically, we're Drive Team 6. So Drive Team 6 are going to grab their own 9 by doing that, which also lets us do that. So let's just grab that. This whole thing starts to collapse. Alright. We've got 28 turns to move out the rest. We can do this very slow and deliberately without, risking messing up. Okay. Okay, that was pretty clean. And it goes to show you just how incredibly strong Drive Team 6 are. 13 moves free. And, why am I excited by this? Why am I so happy at having just arranged a stack of things and being able to use the suits I like without having to rely on the unreliable suits that I don't like? Why do I get a joy out of doing a puzzle without relying on Blood Legacy because there are a bunch of old rich toffs? I don't know, but it just makes me happy. I love that this game does nothing you didn't need an ordinary deck of cards to do. Every technique in this game is doable through some level of technique. Even the things that seem random, you can make a randomizer using the cards on the board if you played this game with a deck of cards. It is completely doable. And essentially this game could have been developed in 1997 with their level of technology. And no one did. And I have sunk hours into this game that Bithell describes as a short. You don't have to play this game for hours and hours and hours. But I have, and I don't know why, beyond the fact that it just makes me happy to be playing this sort of elegant spy master using all of these tools as expressed through so simple and so subtle a game. I am a huge fucking mark for Mike Bithell's work, and I don't know what I can do about that. But I hope it's been fun watching me play, and if you've managed to get all the way to the end of this video, at me on Twitter with the word penguin.